Welcome to episode 21 of Brunch with Besties.
Hey, 21.
21.
Hey.
Of course, you have Sherry Renee and...
I'm Chanel.
And yeah, so today we're talking about being falsely accused.
Yeah. Ooh.
Falsely accused.
2017 has been some year.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous. So.
All these scandals just out the woodworks, just coming out.
Right. Where is Olivia Pope? Because some of these celebrities need her. Because it's really crazy. So yeah, this is an interesting topic.
And of course, we're still talking about Soar, but we're just going to do that for as a segment.
Yeah.
So... But we're going to go ahead and get started. So we always start with a toast. So Chanel, who are you toasting to today?
All right. So I'm going to toast actually to one of my Soras. And she actually makes custom wig units. So I'm really excited. She's making one for me for this weekend, the Ugly Sweater Party. So it's going to be lit. I'm ready for my Brid wig. So they're called Brid wigs. And she has a website. So if you like to get your own Brid wig, you can go to bridstyles.com, and that's BRIDSTYLZ.com. And yeah, they're custom specifically for you. And they're dope. They're full lace wigs, so I'm really excited. So yeah, I'm gonna be like, it's a wig. So, but you can't tell, so it's gonna be awesome.
It's a wig.
It's a wig. So I'm ready. So definitely stop by her site, hit her up, get your wigs. That's season.
And my toast is to Teasy.
Hey,
Teasy Talks.
Yes.
So shouts out to Teasy from Teasy Talks. If you guys ever have a chance, check out Teasy Talks, a dope podcast.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious. So she pretty much organized the Ugly Sweater Party.
Yes, for us.
So yeah, so she invited all the pods. So I'm just shouts out to her for making it a family affair,
absolutely,
including everybody, and just having the idea.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's about to go down. So when
when
this drops, we can all relive it and talk about it. But
yes.
I'm really excited. So
yes.
Yeah, and I heard a little birdie told me that it might be something going on at Everyday Media Studios, where all the pods are going to link up. So I heard that. So should be fun.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so let's break bread. So what's going on, girl?
Girl, I ran out of school today, y'all.
I saw that thing that you put in the group chat. I was like, dude.
It is officially winter break. So, yes, we don't go back to January 8th. So, I'm going to have a nice, long little vacation. I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm so ready.
Yes. Yeah. Shouts out to the break.
Yes.
So, me, I'm trying to recover. So I went to a wedding. So one of my besties got married. And so I was down in Cleveland. And had fun. Got my life together. And then I went over and went to the Escape tour. So got to see that. Let me tell you something. So the Escape tour was everything. Okay. It was completely everything.
I bet.
I got my entire life. I went by myself.
A mess.
Yeah. There were two ladies sitting next to me. They were a little bit older, and I was like, "Yep, well,
we're friends now.
We're friends now."
Right.
And they were sitting down, and I was like, "Well," and those seats were really close. So I was like, "Well, I guess my butt just gonna have to be in y'all face because she's up."
Listen,
so
I'm jamming.
Monica got her entire life. She did Lost Ones by Lauryn Hill, and I thought I was gonna die.
Oh my goodness!
I was like, "Yes, Monica."
Yeah, I know she killed it.
She did. And then,
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you noticed how wonderful she's been looking lately?
First of all, Monica is bad.
Right.
Okay.
She is, and I didn't know.
Yeah, she's bad.
Yeah, she
in
is.
real life.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
I can tell. She
like,
is.
in real life.
Oh, my goodness. She's beautiful.
She is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so, so I was, mesmerized by all her greatness.
Girl.
I miss Tamar.
Oh, my God.
I know. And, I'm a Tamartian, so it really hurt my
Yes.
feelings. I was in my chest for a second. But, so I had to, so the wedding was in Cleveland. What's that? I think the venue
for the concert venue
was in Columbus.
Oh, okay.
So I had to drive 2 hours, and there were some traffic delays, and then they said I had a fake ticket, child.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I was trying to get in. They was like, "Oh, your ticket has already been scanned." And I said, "Oh, not today."
Yeah, which y'all not finna do?
Because she already drove it, and then snowed and rained.
Oh,
okay, and I'm here.
Right.
So
you done went through everything.
I went through everything.
Listen.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
So you know, so I had to go over to the ticket office and get everything straightened out. And then I went in and I missed Tamar. So I was upset. But then when Monica came on, I forgot.
Right.
So
we said whatever.
I was like, whatever.
Well.
Yeah, and then Escape came out, and they were sounding just like their records.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, they sounded amazing.
I'm glad.
Yeah, so I got plenty of clips, plenty of footage from that, and me singing in the background all loud and off key.
Hey.
You know, but hey, I was getting my entire life.
Getting your life.
Then I realized I'm old.
Girl.
So I only had like 1 day of vacation left. So I took a half day on Friday and a half day on Monday. So when I landed, I went right into work.
So mad.
And I told my boss, I was like, I've been up for 36 hours. I need some sleep. So I'm about to go home.
Listen.
And we'll try this again tomorrow.
Yeah. I need a restart button.
I just can't do it.
Because, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
And then in the wedding. So the wedding was beautiful because, as you know, Governor, he's always been vocally just gifted and talented, and the whole bridal party could sing. Right, they all were like opera majors and everything, so it was like a musical. Yeah, like it was beautiful. But I did a really good job. I didn't cry, so I was proud of myself because Nadia was crying left and right and left.
Oh my god! Yeah. Well, it's the hormones.
And I told myself, nope, don't blame it on the hormones, because I said I was gonna come on the pod and drag her. Okay, because she always be talking about me.
Okay, you was just a crybaby.
She's a baby.
Nadia. You was just a crybaby.
Yeah. But then at the reception, I forgot that the bride's mom passed away.
Yeah, when you posted that, I was like, oh my god.
So then when I saw that girl, then I lost it, and I was like, oh no, and I just started crying, Susan, and I was like, dang. Yeah. The story when we got back was supposed to be how Nadia
was the only one crying.
Was the only one crying.
But you was too. Yeah, I would have lost it, like seeing that her mom wasn't there.
And let me tell you something about this DJ at this reception, okay? Let me tell you something. It was so lit.
No, Governor, I knew it. I knew it was.
It was so lit. So first of all, y'all, our friend Governor went to Madison, which was a party school, and all his friends and frat brothers and everything else did too. Listen. So this DJ was so lit that people didn't even eat their dinner. What? Like he was, like they hadn't even brought dinner out yet. They had brought out salad first, and the DJ was like, what are y'all doing? Like, why is everybody on the dance floor? Like, this is the dinner mix. Like, y'all need to go sit down.
Keep eating.
Right. Yeah. And then he was like, I see y'all can't, like, y'all ain't playing.
Right. Party.
Yeah. Listen. And so, needless to say, the next day my inner thighs was hurting.
I bet. Ooh, that's how you know she was getting it, because she was sore. So
I was at the concert like, I want to sit down, but I can't.
Can't even do it.
Because first of all, I'm just gonna have to get back up, and that's like a whole nother squat.
Oh my goodness. Right. I hate. I missed it. I know it was turned.
It was.
Took it back to the 9-9.
And so Governor's, that's what he said. He was like, I told the DJ, like, look, my friends are sophisticated or whatever, but deep down, they're all really ratchet.
Right. Really ratchet. Yes. Oh my goodness. I knew it.
Yeah. Like, it was everything.
Oh, I love it. But shout out to them. Congratulations to them, Governor and Lauren. Congratulations. We love y'all.
We do. Yeah. It was beautiful.
I know
it was beautiful.
I saw the pictures. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah. It was everything. Aww. So yeah, and then back to reality.
I know, right? Back to reality.
Swear. Okay, so now it's time for the tip.
All right.
So this episode is brought to you by Jazzy Ray Jewels and Accessories. Jazzy Ray Jewels is a phenomenal, amazing women's clothing store located at 4307 West Valete in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You can also shop online at www.jazzyrayjewels.com. They have unique, one-of-a-kind clothing and statement jewelry. If you've been following us on Instagram, you'll see plenty of photos of different selections, jewelry pieces, and also clothing. Like I said, definitely one-of-a-kind, trendy. So if you're looking for something to wear to that holiday party, you might want to check out Jazzy Ray Jewels and Accessories.
Yes, get your life.
This episode is also brought to you by Audible. So as you know, we have a book club. We are currently reading Soar. You are welcome to try our free 30-day trial by visiting www.audibletrial.com/BWB. So BWB is in brunch with besties.
Yes.
So now it is time for tea time.
All right now.
And we're talking about being falsely accused.
Yes. It has been really great. And I want to start by saying, we did our Me Too episode. So we definitely take, sexual misconduct, rape, molestation, like all of that, we take it so seriously. We both have stories of that. So we don't want to say, it didn't happen to people, because if it did, we want to make sure that we're being sensitive to those victims and those survivors and those sheroes. So we don't want to take that away from anything. So I did want to start off by kind of saying that disclaimer. However, there have been a lot of allegations in the news that we, and we don't know what's facts and what's fiction, but we do know that it does happen. False allegations do happen, and people, some people are, and it's not just women. There have been men too. Some people, I'm gonna say, people are looking for a come up, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we know that, like with Nelly, allegations were made against him, and then they were dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's actually taken legal action to sue her, to sue the person that, said those allegations about him. And Sylvester Stallone is another one.
Okay, well, tell us about Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, a woman said back in the 80s, I don't even remember when it was, but back in the 80s, like, he raped a woman. And he was like, no, like, that never happened. That's not true. So now he went to police, and he wanted the police to kind of go after her for that false accusation, which, I mean, if it was absolutely false, he should. Like, you can't just slander somebody's name like that and ruin their reputation. I think that there should be some legal action if that happens and they find out that it wasn't true. But when it comes to sexual misconduct, it is such a fine line.
It's a fine line.
Oh my goodness. And just hearing all these allegations just made me think, like, have I been, like, sexually misconducting with somebody? Like, have I done that? Or have I, like, thought it was something when it really wasn't? So it definitely makes me think about myself. Like, what am I allowing and what am I kind of doing? And is this sexual misconduct at work? Like, when guys kind of hug me at work, I always, like, turn to the side. Like, you can't hug me in the front. Like, I'm always, like, aware because I don't want them to feel a certain way, and I don't want them to think that it's something that it's really not.
Right.
So it's definitely in the forefront of my mind of how I should control and move and around men. Just so that those things don't start to come into people's minds.
It's one of those things where it's like, the Me Too movement was supposed to inspire people to get rid of the shame and come out and talk about it. So Absolutely. I think that has definitely happened. On one hand, right? But then on the other hand, it's kind of like we need to find the balance, because a lot of people are saying things and then recanting.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but there doesn't seem to really be a lot of accountability for when that happens. Right. And I don't know if you remember or not, but that actually happened to my brother.
Yeah. And when we were talking about having this discussion, that's the first thing I thought about.
Yeah. And so, I was trying to get him to come on. But he was acting crazy.
Come on, brother.
Yeah, but I know, right? He was acting crazy. But basically, what happened is we were in high school. So it was his senior year, my junior year. And a girl accused him and his friends of raping her. And so they did have sex. So they did have sex. And the woman happened to be white. Okay. Right. And my brother's obviously bliggity black.
Bliggity black. Yes.
And he was actually in class, and the police came into the school, handcuffed him, and arrested him in front of everybody. Took him to jail. And I remember, so everybody came and told me what was going on and what happened. And I assumed that they had notified or called my mom, but they didn't. And so I went home, and my mom comes home later, and she's like, "Where's your brother?"
Right.
And I freaked out.
Oh my goodness.
Because I was like, so I have to tell her this?
Right.
Like, what? I'm not ready.
Right.
Don't y'all know my mom is a Scorpio? She is crazy.
Listen, and I'm just a kid.
Yeah, I'm just a kid. No. Right. I just want to, like, do my daggone homework.
Right. I'm trying to watch 106 and Park. I wasn't ready for this.
I ain't ready for this. I'm just trying to eat my flaming hots and move on. Right.
Listen, that was it. Oh my goodness.
But, yeah, so... And shouts out to all the Scorpio listeners and all the Scorpio parents. Y'all crazy.
Listen, they don't play.
meaning that she's unpredictable.
Absolutely.
Okay. So my mama.
Listen, okay. Especially if it's about one of her babies.
Yeah.
Listen.
So when I told her, like she completely flipped all the way out. Like her mind went a million miles a minute. Like she turned red. And my mom doesn't cry. You know what I mean? Like that's not who she is. But she got all emotional. And then I felt like I was responsible for it because, again, I'm a kid.
Right.
And so then she, she was like, well, we have to get a lawyer and we have to find out what's going on. Like, so she was trying to figure everything out. And then they were talking about 30 to 60 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. All of that. And so then eventually the girl, so again, it was my brother and two of his friends. And so, when I asked him what happened, he said that they never read him his Miranda rights. So he didn't even know what he was being arrested for, right? So he had to ask, right, or inquire when he got there. And then they made him kind of write down the story of what happened. And then they kind of tried to play some little mind tricks like, oh, well, such and such in the other room, because, they split them up. And also he said that he didn't realize that they were all there because they arrested my brother from his classroom. Right. And so then he said that the other inmates told him like, oh no, they have this person and that person too.
Right.
So he was able to put together that they were there as well. And then they would say, oh, such and such said that you did this, or such and such said you did that. And he was like, I don't care what they said. This is what happened.
Right.
And so eventually the girl recanted her statement. But she ended up switching schools, which was probably for her own safety.
Listen here. Absolutely.
But I mean, can you imagine the fear, right, when you're being accused of something that you didn't do,
especially something like rape? Like, that's huge.
And not only that, but then what are her consequences?
Right.
None.
Zero.
There were no consequences for her. And that was always just so amazing to me. And I was just talking with my brother the other day about how people can make such harsh allegations, and in order for you to have justice, you have to go after them.
Right.
Whereas if somebody makes an accusation against you, they just come you know what I mean?
Come and arrest you.
They just come and arrest you and do, and not only that, but they did this at school. Not like you can't, so you're missing days of work. You're not in school. Like there's nobody ever makes up that time, that money lost, that embarrassment.
Right. And that's the thing. Like now this is slandered me.
You've slandered me. And you know what? Even though she recanted, it still doesn't matter because people still remember.
Absolutely. In high school, everybody remembers that.
Yeah, so that was the rumor of the year, honey.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, because he raped that girl. And then, later for me, so then eventually, I graduated and I went to college, and I had graduated and I was trying to find different jobs, and I ended up landing an interview with the FBI. And when you try to work for the FBI, they research
everything.
You and all your family.
Yeah, everything.
They tell you stuff about yourself that you didn't even know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they definitely, so it was very clear that although that wasn't supposed to be on his record, that it was. Yeah.
I just see all these red flags. Like, okay, first, they didn't read you your Miranda rights. That's number one.
Hello, somebody.
That's lawsuit number one. Number two, they didn't contact your parent. You're a minor.
Yes.
That's number two. Number three is they have you in custody and they're asking you all these questions. Where's my right to my lawyer? Like, I don't have to tell y'all nothing. Right. That's number three. Okay. It's so much stuff.
So many things.
Like,
so
really?
many things. And I think for him and the other two, they were just so grateful that she had recanted.
Right.
But then too, for me, it was like, well, what's her motive? Like, why are you doing this?
Right.
When I think it's I can only make assumptions, right? But I think it's the embarrassment, like, oh, I did this, I did,
So
whatever.
They never got a why from her. Like, why did you do this?
No, that she was never to be heard of again. They saw her one time later at a college party. But, they didn't go have any interactions with her because who's to say what else you gonna say?
Right.
You know what? I'm not gonna be caught dead within 5 feet.
I know that took some restraint because
and that's exactly what my brother was saying. He said that somebody had pointed her out and he was getting ready to go over there, and one of his guys who was in the same situation with him was like, dude, we ain't in jail, are we? Like,
Right.
like leave it alone, because the next time they come get us is gonna be for something real that we actually did.
Yeah.
So
After that, yeah.
Right.
Now.
Right.
Oh my God.
But it's just crazy because during that time, like not shortly after that, I was watching, I think it was Jerry Springer. It was something. And there were 3 guys. They were accused of raping a girl. They went to a party. They had consensual sex with a girl. They ended up, it made national news that they had raped her.
Okay.
They were getting ready to go to college and everything. They lost their scholarships. They couldn't find jobs, like just within, their own city, even just like regular jobs.
Oh my goodness.
Like it ruined their lives.
Yeah, something like that.
And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm thankful that my brother's situation didn't make national news.
Right.
But goodness. And again, and the girl in this case where it did make national news, the girl ended up recanting, but like they said, so what? I might as well have raped her because I'm suffering as if I did. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not in jail, I'm not in prison, but and they were saying how even when they go out in public, people yell things at them. Like, people treat them as if they're rapists. And, when you're hiring somebody, even though, so I'm not going to be like, oh, well, they dropped the charges, so here, now you can have this job. They're going to be like, no, I'm just going to go with the other candidate who's not accused of being a rapist.
Because the idea is still there. Like,
exactly.
And people will run with the story with the false information because it's better, it's entertaining for you than the truth is. So people are gonna definitely run with that and not think anything of it, which is so. It's really ridiculous. Like, there should be some type of law in place.
There should be automatic consequences.
Yeah, like you should.
If you recant the story,
like,
you need to. Yeah, you need to be arrested.
Yeah. You should get
because these people have to live with this forever.
Oh my goodness.
And so, but see, I think a lot of people don't try to pursue or go after the person who accused them because it's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it also makes me think about even recently how Candy from Housewives of Atlanta and Escape, shout out to Escape.
But hey, y'all for listening.
But why she was so upset when Portia and what's the other girl's name?
Ooh, I don't really watch the show. So
I don't know. Portia and oh God, why can't I think of her name?
Yeah, I don't watch the show, but I do know what you're referring to. Where Portia, or was it the lawyer lady?
Yeah, well,
Phaedra.
Phaedra, thank you.
Yeah,
of her saying that her and Todd were trying to rape her.
Yeah. And people's like she said that, Candy said that, like, even still to this day, like, people will comment on her social media and say you're a rapist and all this stuff. Yeah. And she's like, that's hurtful, like, because it's not true.
And not only that, but I think it's because too, everyone is not following and watching the episodes, so they don't know that it was a lot. They just saw one clip on YouTube or Instagram or something where it was said that she was planning on raping her, and they taking it and they running with it.
Yeah, that's so messed up. And I'm just thinking, like, all of these allegations, I'm so thankful that your brother and the other young guys who were with him didn't go to jail actually for that. But there have been people in cases where people are convicted and actually do years in jail. And then get out, and then it comes to find out, like, especially through like DNA testing and all this other stuff. Because I mean, if you have sex with somebody and it's consensual, I mean, there will be that DNA there. Who's to say? But once a person comes out and be like, okay, I wasn't raped, I was just, telling the story. But then it's like, but you ruined my life. Like, I've been in jail for 10, 15 plus years for something that I didn't do. And especially for these black and brown brothers who go to jail for being with a white woman. I'm just going to throw it out there, because for the most part, this is the case. Like, this is what we're seeing. And then they go to jail, and then they come out, and it's like, but what do you get for all this time lost?
And you know what? A lot of times they just cut them a check, but there's no check big enough
money
for the time that they have to spend away from their kids and their family. And now they're behind on, like, technology.
Absolutely.
And just, like, they're so far removed.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they're still a rapist in the eyes of everyone else.
Or even to lose their youth. Like, these young guys who go to jail when they're, like, 16, 17, 18, and they get out, they're, like, 35. You miss all of that time. All of it. and that's time you can never get back. And
Never.
then you're kind of mentally stuck in that time frame of when you left. Like,
and not
that's
only
when
that,
your life
but
stopped.
I would even go as far to say that there's probably emotional and just psychological trauma because you don't know what they had to endure while they were in prison. You know,
so sad.
And then not only that, but if you're in prison and you're a rapist, they gonna rape you.
Oh my God, that is so
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you in prison and they find out why you're there, they ain't playing.
That is,
you know,
so
and it's crazy because they'll be like, you know, me, I'm just a thief, but you a rapist, so
right,
you know,
we gotta get you.
Yeah, we gonna get you.
Absolutely, and 9 for 9, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you know, and just all the fights and the culture and how they had to adapt and just try, you know, to survive because in there, you know, that's probably what it's all about, right? I haven't been, y'all. I'm just making some assumptions. But,
right.
I ain't never been to prison.
Oh my goodness.
But I would say that the experience is probably traumatic, especially when you know you don't belong there. You know that you don't belong there. Like, that's hard. How does one move on for that? And then what the state or the, you know, says, my bad, we sorry. Right. We sorry.
And it's crazy because I'm pulling this up. And so the young guy, Brock Turner, who's white, he served 3 months in jail for a sexual assault. 3 months.
And he was guilty?
He was guilty. So he actually did this crime. He served 3 months. He was supposed to serve 6. This is judge said. So he was supposed to serve 6. He got out on good behavior because the judge said being in prison would be too much for him. I wish y'all could see her face.
Chat, look, this is when I'm gonna start singing an old Negro spiritual
Girl.
to help cope.
And that's what I'm
moment.
saying. Like, our black and brown brothers are just getting the short end of the stick. When you see stuff like this, and it's just like, really?
3 months.
3 months.
6 months would be too much
for sexual assault.
So then the woman who he assaulted,
after sexually assaulting an unconscious woman and spending 3 months behind bars, it took Brock Turner less than 30 seconds to walk out of a California jail. This is according to CNN.
So it's crazy that you brought that up because one of the things that happened when my brother and his friends were set free is my mom made him call his friends, one who was biracial and one who was black, and my brother refused to call the one who was biracial because he was like, nah, you know, you can't say this to him. But the other friend, she says, she was like, you know, so my mom's not racist or anything like that, but she was just like, you guys are black men,
right?
Do I have to remind you of who you are? You can't do stuff like this,
absolutely, because
you will lose every time.
She ain't wrong.
So you know, her in her mind, you know, she was just saying like, y'all are being stupid right now,
right?
Like, what made you think that you could go, you know, do this and do that with a girl who's white and win,
right?
It's your word against her. So thank God that she dropped.
Absolutely.
That she recanted.
Absolutely.
Thank God that she did that. But if she wouldn't, y'all would just be sitting in there.
Still in jail. Probably to this day, they would still be there.
Because at the end of the day, this just looks bad.
All bad.
It just looks all bad. It looks all bad. And when you throw the element of race in there, it just looks worse.
It does. Absolutely.
It looks worse because, you know, it's already, you know, and not even just in society's mind, but I would even say in our minds sometimes, right? That we're the villain in the situation.
Yeah, everybody's for some reason there's a stigma that black people are menacing and afraid and scary. But
there's the element of fear and all that.
That's our country that we kind of live in. But you know, we don't want to make this a race thing for sure. But you know,
it's more about a I guess a character thing, or you know, just being falsely accused.
Absolutely. And I was gonna segue into saying that, you know, I think to solve this whole problem of being falsely accused, for one, we need to start teaching our boys, you know, while they're young, about girls and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And I think that would alleviate some of this. Because I know, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to front. Like, I've been at parties. I've had a good time. I've been drinking. And sometimes there have been times where guys would get a little touchy-feely, and I didn't care. Like, I didn't really mind it. What was comfortable and what's not comfortable. And I'm sure it was a guy that I knew and I was familiar with, whatever. But I feel like sometimes young women like myself, you can put yourself in a dangerous kind of situation. Mm-hmm. And I'm not blaming any victim. Please, this is so like slippery slope that I don't want to come off to victim shame or point fingers of who did what. But I think, if we teach our girls, to control themselves and not control. See, this sounds crazy. To not control themselves, but to just be aware of your surroundings. And if we teach our boys, what's appropriate for women, what's appropriate touches, and what's the appropriate way to talk to a woman, and this culture we live in today is very much so like disrespectful to women. I'm gonna just throw it out there, like it very much so, and people don't understand this rape culture that we live in, that it's okay to treat women like this, and there are women who are okay with being treated like that. So I think if we change kind of that narrative of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, I think that would kind of help alleviate some of these false allegations.
Right. And it's crazy because I don't want to go this far, but I think it was On the Game.
Oh.
So, On the Game, show. That used to be the show back in, a few years back. So On the Game, the premise was that they played for a football team, right? Mm-hmm. They played in the NFL. And I think it was Malik who on one episode, he literally would have consent forms and different things. And like anytime a girl spent the night, like she would have to sign one and different things like that.
And get her basket.
Yeah, and get her basket. Yeah, like she had like a to-go basket with like a toothbrush and like different things. But nonetheless, it's like, okay, obviously we didn't like the way that he was portraying women. But I mean, it kind of goes to show that it was like, hey, I'm not going to put myself in any of these situations. So not only do I have your verbal consent, but I have your signature.
Wow.
Right? So obviously we're not saying that it needs to go that far, but I agree. I think that we have to be conscious of what situations we put ourselves in, because there could be times where maybe you were consenting and then along the way you were like, you know what? Change my mind. Yep. But at the same time, I think that we really do have to teach our boys. So I had asked my brother, I was like, so what's one of the things that, that you learn from this? And so at the time, he actually had a girlfriend, right? So again, we were in high school. He had a high school girlfriend, and she wasn't sexually active at the time, right? And so that's another reason why he was with this other girl, right? But he was like, I was cheating. Mm-hmm. Hey. Let's just call it what it is.
What it is.
I was out here.
Listen, I was out here.
And I got caught up. I mean, now that's the worst way to get caught cheating. Right.
Way. Oh my
you got
God.
Arrested.
Right. In front of everybody.
But at the same time, I think that we have to teach our boys, and I hate to make it about race, but I know if I ever had kids, there's some things that I would have to tell my kids as Black. This is, what I mean? Like, this is white America.
Listen,
so, and it's funny because, like, me and our friend Scarlett would talk about this all the time, like, things that Black parents tell their kids, right? When you go to the store, yes, you're going to get a bag and a receipt. Do you need a receipt? How you'd be like, nope. Do you need a bag? Nope. No. Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. You always need a receipt, and you always need a bag. Yep. Okay, because that proves that you bought it.
Exactly.
And I ain't got time, right?
Listen, or don't go in the store with something. Like, don't
go in there with your backpack.
Nope, we ain't going, Nope. Leave that in the car.
And it's funny because shouts out to my friend Talena.
Hey, boo.
There was a time where we took one of our students. So me and Talena were volunteering for a program, and we took one of our students, school shopping, right? So we're out, we're having fun, and we came from an event. So he had his backpack, and he was going into the dressing room, and I was like, hey, give me that, Right. And it's funny because he's such a good kid, and I know he's not a thief, right? He's none of that, and so I hope he doesn't think that I was trying to call him one. But I was like, no, our plan is to do this, and then I got other stuff to do today. I don't have time
for nobody to be thinking
for all of these inconveniences. So take the backpack off, and I will hold it.
Listen, that's facts.
Thank you.
Those are facts.
Like nobody got time for this.
Those undisclosed facts, just being Black. This is what we have to go through.
Right. So it's just one of those things where I think that there's a lot of times where we think that we can just be regular, regular people, and then things arise. So definitely, pointing out, number one, my brother was in the wrong, right, on his own account, right?
Oh,
number
sure.
one, I was
Yeah.
cheating. Number two, was this even morally something that I should be trying to do?
Right.
No, you know what I mean? But at the same token, man, being falsely accused, like to actually say like somebody raped you. And one of the things that he said too, he was like, that's why when people come out and they say like such and such raped me, or they did this or they did that, he was like, a lot of times I honestly just don't even believe it. And that's sad too.
Yeah.
But that's because of his experience.
Yes. Yep. And again, that's that fine line of what it is, because and again, this is so slippery, but for the most part, it's not always, but for the most part, it's typically consensual sex. So it's like, who's to say? But like you said, if at one point I did want this, okay, I wanted it to happen, but then if a female says no, like, I don't want to do this no more, like, we have to teach her, you gotta stop. No means no. Like, once that comes out of her mouth, it's a wrap. Like,
it's a wrap.
You got to get yourself together. And I think on 13 Reasons Why, they did a good job of portraying that when the two main characters were like together, and she was going, but then she was having flashbacks of when she was actually raped, and she was like, no, like, stop. And he had to stop. He was like, okay, well, what's wrong? And she was like, no, like, get off me. And we have to teach our young boys that, like, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Means no means no. No matter what. I don't care what y'all doing.
Right. So. And then too, I think even the whole persuasion piece of it, that's a slippery slope too, because then later, sometimes the girl says, I was uncomfortable, or I felt like I had to do it, or if you're in a position of authority.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that was the case with Tavis Smiley, right?
Yeah, and he said that.
Yeah.
Too.
And so so maybe it was consensual, but they felt like they were being pressured,
that's true.
Or they were concerned about the ramifications of saying no. So it is a slippery slope, and it's crazy because we also hear stories of girls who say like, oh, I did go report to, like, we were on campus and it was a football player or a basketball player, and I did go try to report it, and they basically told me to give them proof. So it's one of those things where it's like, it seems like in both cases it's, your word against theirs, and you don't want to make it difficult for people to report rape, because they should be able to report it,
absolutely,
and speak up about it, right? But then at the same time, if it's found out that they were not being truthful, there should be some extreme consequences. I don't not agree with that. There should, like, you need to go to jail. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Like, you should have to go to jail off bat.
But there should be a major fine. You should have to it should be mandatory prison time. Like, for real.
Yeah, you got to go to jail.
Like, according to, and I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just got to be something, because you can't come wreck someone's whole life like that.
Their whole, like, it's with all these allegations. And I'm not saying that most of these, like, Hollywood, I found like articles like the 100 most influential men who this year in 2017 have been accused of sexual misconduct. 100 men, like, that's crazy. And I know Bill Cosby, with what he's going through, kind of opened those floodgates, and I feel like from there it's just been allegation after allegation, accusation after accusation, and it's just been really crazy. And a lot of them have been men who are powerful. A lot of them have been, men who are having these relationships with people they work with, or co-workers or co-stars. And for me, that's okay. Why? Like, no, okay, because this is too much. Close. Yeah. So I think, looking at hindsight, like, I'm sure they all can think back like, nah, I probably shouldn't have messed with this person, because that's too close for comfort.
And was it really worth it?
Absolutely. Was it
really worth it?
Because it's been some nasty allegations.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about Russell Simmons in particular, with what he's got going on. And for me, it's like, I'm not going to say if I believe him or not, because I want to hear all the facts, and you don't really get all the facts through social media or online. So I don't want to pull from one or the other. But when he did that, I think he did a hashtag like, not me 2 or something. I don't even remember what it was called. But when he did that, I was kind of like, don't do that. Like, don't make it this versus that, because I feel like that's what it's gonna turn into.
That's like all lives matter, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So when he did it, that's absolutely what it kind of sounds like. Like, duh, we know all lives matter. Right. However, we don't. All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. So that's kind of how it works. Like, it can't be a not Me Too, because it's still a Me Too, because too many women are being sexually assaulted,
and we're not gonna take away from that.
Absolutely not. So it's just like, when he did that, I was like, okay, I get you want to clear your name.
Yeah, and then too, you're an easy target. Right. So, and that's the thing. And I think that's kind of what we probably need to teach our boys, unfortunately. Like, okay, hey, you are the star basketball player at your high school or at your college. Yeah. You have a bright future ahead of you. Like, let's not, engage in this risky immoral behavior to begin with, so that we don't open ourselves up to be in a situation such as this.
I'm already on it. My baby only 9, and I'm already like, no. Like, we're not doing that, son. So and it's crazy that you have to kind of do that, but there are some people who are looking for a come up, men and women, and I feel like the day and age we live in today, it's kind of come up season. Like, people see those easy targets and, I can get this quick $1 million check, and but it's just like, really, like, you're really that money hungry to ruin somebody's life like that, though?
Yeah, and that's sad. But I also think that the media shouldn't be able to put out anything when it's just an allegation.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay.
Just because, like I said, it's just, man... First of all, the story of somebody recanting is never as big as the headline.
It's like tiny print. Yeah. Like, you got to catch it.
Right. And you got to be following it. But you never forget when you see the initial Bill Cosby,
it's
blah,
huge.
blah, blah. Yeah. It's crazy.
And then it's like so much. I feel like, and you hit the nail on the head. Like, the media is a driving force, because I feel like it's so much in your face now. Like, once these trends kind of happen, like, now it's like sexual misconduct. Like, every news article or every report is, this person was accused today. And then it's just like, oh, wow. Like, I get it. But again, you can't report this until you have all the facts.
I don't think it should ever hit the media until they're found guilty.
I agree.
Because that's what's that's ruining people's lives and getting people dropped from labels and
everything,
contracts,
stepping down,
and
it's crazy.
Like,
and I'm sure, like, a lot of these up and coming artists, so now you kind of got to think, like, what have I done in my past? Like, is somebody gonna come after me? Like, that's really crazy, because somebody in 10 years ago could be like, well, they did this to me 10 years ago. But it's just like, well, why are you bringing this up now?
Yeah.
But again, sometimes if it really is a case of rape or sexual misconduct or whatever, and maybe that person didn't get the courage until now. Like, now the floodgates are kind of open. It's like, okay, well, I had that experience too. But some of these people are just sliding in and just catching the wave.
Yeah, definitely. Bandwagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
And that's the thing too, because like you said, it's a slippery slope, because you don't want to say like, oh, there's a statute of limitations, right? Because for the victim, that can be very freeing, and it can help other people if it's true.
Sure, yeah.
Keywords there.
If it's true.
If
absolutely.
It's true. If it's not, then sit down.
Yeah, like, please sit down. Like, do a scratch off or something. Play the lottery. Like,
I don't know. Just feed that somewhere else.
But ain't nobody know. So it's just, I'm definitely hoping that, it isn't happening this much, but I don't know. Only God knows the truth. So, but we definitely, I don't know if they do like, sex ed in school anymore. Do they still do that?
I think they do, but it might just be more so called help.
No, we need to get real with these kids. I feel like the stuff that the kids learn in school is not helpful in life.
But even when we did sex ed, it was more about health. It wasn't really, you know, and I guess too, it depends on what kind of school you go to, right? So if you go to a religious school,
right,
then it's hey, wait till marriage, which by the way is another way to make sure that you don't have these allegations.
Exactly.
I slept with my wife. I slept with my husband. That was it. So that that's another way to avoid being, and that's why God set up the system this way.
There we go.
So hey, step outside out of line of that, and hey, this is one of the things that could happen.
It could happen to you. Now. That's crazy. But it should be something like the kids. I feel like the kids need it. Like the kids are going to do
in terms of like
do.
No means no, or
I feel like all
mean?
Of that, like just appropriateness and no means no, and just this understanding what this rape culture is today. Because I feel like a lot of these young people don't know. I remember one time I don't know if I was with y'all or I don't know who I was with. It don't even matter. But I was at Summerfest, and Summerfest is lit in the summertime. But we were like in high school. So we're walking by where the rides used to be, you know, where it used to be lit over there. So we're over there and walking. I had on like shorts or something. And in high school, I feel like I was skinny. Like my body was foul, but whatever. So I had on shorts. And this dude like literally grabs my whole butt cheek.
Yes.
Like my whole butt. And I was like, like, don't touch me. Like, who does that? So I feel like a lot of young people don't know what's appropriate and what's inappropriate because of what they see, and they see like some women who are okay with that, and maybe they don't know either. Yeah. But it's just like that's not okay to just reach your hand out and grab somebody's butt like that.
I agree. Yeah, and I've had stuff like that too, and I agree. And it's like, you know, stuff like that is real quick, and there's nothing that you can really do, right? Because hey, now they stopped, but it's like, well, for me, like I want to kill you, because we can't take this back. But yeah, I agree, definitely in terms of just what's appropriate and what's not. And I think that they know, but they think it's funny. And then too, I think sometimes when girls are saying no, it might be like, no, stop, you know, like that. And sometimes the guys are like, yeah, she's just playing, right? So
that's true. So we need to get a clear, like, understanding.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe there just needs to be that code word, pineapples or something. I don't know.
Something. Throw some pineapples out there.
So that's the recommendation going forward. Is to establish some sort of code word.
So we all know.
So that is very clear.
Listen, so thank you, Kevin Hart, for the pineapples. We might need to use that just so people are clear and understand if it's okay to go or if you need to kind of stop what you're doing. But I feel like that would be helpful for some young people to have real life classes about that stuff. And that doesn't happen.
Right. And then, so I think that there's a lot of times where guys say, like, oh, yeah, she said she wouldn't, but she did. She said she didn't want to, but she do. Right. You know, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, but she say, but guys, if you don't hear out of her mouth say, I want you to grab my butt.
Right. What girl has ever said that? I don't know.
You probably shouldn't do it. Like, it's probably
I think that it's safe to assume that it's always a no unless it's clearly articulated that it's a yes.
There we go. That's it. Gems. It's always a no unless
always
it's a
no.
Yes. A verbal yes out of her mouth. So yeah, man, 2017 has been some year. So
have you ever been falsely accused of something?
Oh, have I? That's a great question. No, I don't think I have been ever falsely accused of something like huge. No, none that I can think of.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Especially nothing huge. Like maybe petty stuff like she ate the last donut. I don't know. Like something small. Or, you know, my mama like macadamia nut cookies. Like she ate the last one. But no, I didn't.
Yeah.
So. I didn't.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. I don't think I've been falsely accused of anything huge because the way I am, like, if I'm going to get, like, I need to just tell you because it's going to be on my heart. So, yeah, no. I don't think I've ever been falsely accused of anything.
And me too. I just try to mind my own business.
Listen.
and not engage.
That's all you can do. Just worry about you.
And a lot of activities. So
listen here. MYOB. No, I've definitely, and I've never accused anybody of doing anything either. Especially like in the sense of like sexual misconduct or anything like that. Because for me, like I'm pretty vocal. Like I'm a vocal woman. So if I do want it from a guy, like he gonna know. Like I'm gonna tell you that I want it or not. I mean, in the case of when I was younger, I was like 8. So of course I wasn't like, yeah, do this to me. Like I didn't know what was going on. But as an adult, yeah, I've been pretty vocal. Like if I want you, you gonna know it. It's gonna be a yes. Unless I say it's a no.
Yeah. But I guess I'm just thinking like in terms of some of our music, you know, like give me that. Girl, you know you want it. Girl, don't act like you don't want it. Girl, you want it just as bad as I do.
Hey.
You know?
I mean, and that's the and we be dancing right. Hey. One left cheek, but no, I'm cheek. But and that's the thing, like you said, like media, and that's all media, like music and videos and the news is a driving force of this rape culture today. And I think Charlamagne the God was talking about it on the Breakfast Club a while back too. Like he didn't realize how engulfed in this rape culture that he was, and he was like, I was really out here bad, like with some of the stuff I would say and the stuff I would do. But he was like, I'm a changed man now. So I was like,
I was listening to, so the Breakfast Club has a podcast. So hey, shout out to
hey y'all.
And a caller called in, and he said something. He was like, hey, Angela Yee, like he said something to the extent of like, what color panties you got on today? And Charlamagne called him on it, and he was like, oh, so you just gonna call up here what do you say, like engaging in this whole rape culture I see? And he was like, what? Like that's not what that. He was like, that is what that is.
It is.
You know, and it's crazy because and I think that the language rape is really aggressive.
Sure.
So a lot of people don't consider a lot of the things that they do leading up to that, or to even be associated with that. But even just like catcalling and stuff like that, you know, just people making a spectacle out of you. You just trying to walk down the street.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to just live my life while we talking.
And it is uncomfortable, especially from like random guys. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. Like, if it's a dude that I know and I kind of like him too, like I will like do the most. But like a random guy who's just like, yeah, girl, like you're so fine. It's just like, oh no, don't look like, please. Right?
Oh God, why? You're right.
Let me hide. But it's funny, and shout out to Charlamagne the God for that growth, because a lot of people don't recognize it, because he was a big culprit of it. Like Kelly Rowland, like he would always say like, yeah, I would suck the fart out of her butt, like just being really vulgar. And I'm glad that he recognizes that probably wasn't the best thing to say.
Not. Just say, hey, I think she's beautiful. You know, and that's crazy, because like that's all that I think we want. Like why can't y'all just be like, hey, you look nice today?
Exactly. It's very simple. Like who wants it? Yeah, girl, let me bend you over because you look so like really.
Oh, I'd hit that. Like why we can't just say you look nice?
Right. First of all, hello.
Right.
That's number one.
Yeah, so we're gonna teach we're gonna teach young men how to compliment women.
There we go.
That's what we're gonna do.
That's the start. Absolutely. It's the simple stuff. Like, yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Anything else on rape culture?
That's
on rape culture. I mean, on falsely accusing people.
So yeah, we just definitely gotta be knowledgeable about, and especially for our boys and our young girls, just being knowledgeable about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, because again, something like this can change your entire life. It's not just for right now. But yeah, it can change your entire life. So you definitely want to make sure that you understand kind of your surroundings and what's going on around you, because we don't want nobody sitting in no jail for something they didn't do.
And that's the thing too, because before you talked about somebody that the one guy was having sex with someone who was unconscious, right? Like, okay, that's not consensual.
Right. I'm dead to the world. Like, what made you think that I wanted this?
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's not the first time that has happened, especially on these college campuses. And that's been a lot of talk with like HBCUs too, that there is kind of this rape culture, and that's a discussion that needs to happen though. And I feel like it's not.
It is, but really and I will put that on both of us, right? So
Absolutely.
I think for the women, why you getting so drunk that you passing out? That's number one.
That is number one.
Number two, where are your friends?
That's number two.
And number three, for the guys, why we engaging in sex with girls who are passed out, or who obviously are not in their right mind.
Right? Wouldn't that freak you out though? Like she's like basically a zombie.
What, though? So when we were in college, so me and Chanel were roommates freshman year.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop, Cobean Hall.
Whoop, whoop.
So I used to work over at the Wisconsin Club, and there were girls who worked over there with me. So we were all students, and like this one girl, she would say stuff like that all the time. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, and I woke up in the middle of the street and my pants were off." What? Like, but this was like every weekend. So we would work on the weekends. She would say stuff like that all the time. Like, and I'd be like, "Dude, like, what is wrong with you?"
Yeah. Well, at that school, them kids used to be wasted.
They were. So Marquette is a Catholic school.
Ooh, but it ain't dry,
and when them
y'all.
kids, and I think that was probably part of it, was a lot of the kids were wilding out, you know, because maybe they had strict parents and things like that. And
or that's just the culture of the school.
Maybe it is, but that's one thing that I'm thankful for, is that my mom wasn't very strict, so I never really like, I don't wild out. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't really, or I guess my version of wilding out ain't really wild,
right?
You know. Because I guess I never really felt like I had to, because I wasn't restricted.
Right.
So,
yeah, no. And not like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been pretty turned up, but I have wonderful friends who not gonna let me be outside like OC like that. And I know, like, when too much is too much for me, like, I'll stop myself, like, no. And if that happens, like, and that only happened to me like twice, but I was in somebody's house and I was with my friend, so it was never like,
and that's
outside.
The thing. So I think that it's about also just making sure that you're in a safe environment.
Yeah.
You know, like, how are you gonna wake up outside
with no pants on?
With no pants on
outside?
Like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Lord, so yeah,
right.
Don't be like that.
Okay, so quick segment on our book club.
Yes, Soar.
Before we end, so Soar. So we were picking up at chapter 6, so 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
Any highlights that you want to share?
For me, it's definitely progressing, and it's definitely got my mind going about how I can get into entrepreneurship. They're definitely getting into the nitty gritty of the story. So I'm definitely thinking about, how can I apply this to my life? And I think when you are reading a book, that's kind of what you should kind of be thinking about. Like, how can I relate this to my real life?
Yeah.
And how can I apply the lessons learned in this story? So I'm definitely like, let me get my life together. And it's so funny, because you said this the last time we recorded. You was like, whenever you have an idea, you write it down. Girl, no lie, it was like 3:00 in the morning. Like, I just felt anxious, like something in my heart. I'm like, why am I so anxious? Like, what is going on? And I just had this idea, and I was just like, and I had to turn on my phone, take out my notes, and I had to, like, literally write it down at that moment, because I could not sleep. And I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, I can't wait to hear what this idea
is. Yeah, it was just like, I was really so anxious, and I was just like, oh my God, like, really, go to bed, bro. And I couldn't. And I'm like, okay, God, like, you want to have a talk? Like, let's talk. But it wasn't that, because I'm like, okay, I'm waiting, like, I don't hear them. But then it's like, I had this random idea popped in my head, and I had to write it down.
Okay.
It was crazy. So I was just like, oh, let me take a note out of Sherry's book. Let me write this down.
Yeah, because a lot of those are probably really great ideas. And that's the difference between, you know, us and people who are entrepreneurs, is a lot of them just follow through with the idea.
Right. Yeah.
But my biggest thing was, he talked about do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So he was talking about how the story was about Amazon, and how Amazon was created to be A to Z, right? So everything, right? And he was talking about how it's important to get the experience that your customer would get. So shopping for your own item. And it's funny because, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm listening to in this book that's advice that I have given to other people. And I was speaking with a friend, and I was telling her how important it is to listen to her own podcast.
Oh, wow,
right?
yeah.
So I was like, because then, you know, it's one thing to record and, you know, you're listening to it then and then you're putting it out. But when you listen to it, when you play it back, you get to understand what your customer is experiencing, right? And that's why we said, like, you know what, for the book club piece, we're going to pare it down so that the whole episode isn't focused on that, because everybody may not necessarily be engaged in the book, right?
Absolutely.
So then that way we can still keep it going, but we're not like forcing or making
everybody
listen to it.
Right.
Because everybody don't want to be an entrepreneur.
That's
true. That's just what it is.
And to just regurgitate the story. Like, if they're reading it, they're probably like, okay, we got it.
Right. But that was one of the things too, is that be your own customer. Like, you have to be, rule number 1 is always be your own customer.
Listen.
So that was
don't get high on your own spot. Okay. Yeah, don't do that.
Oh God, dude, edit that out. I'm just playing. That's probably one of the quotes that we say the most. Is Dooch, please edit this out.
And I think everybody. So on Saturday, we all need to just shout that out. Like, Dooch, can you edit this out?
Yeah. And then one of the other things too that he talked about is when you're trying to get investors, and if they say no for a reason, and they say, they give you the reasons why, he was saying take notes, like learn from that, so that you can eventually get a yes, maybe with another investor, or you can go back to that one.
Yeah.
So to me, these chapters was really just about continuous improvement, looking at what you got and saying, how can I make it better?
Absolutely.
And
that's life, man. That's a gem. Like, and as humans, that's how we should be looking at our life, period.
Yeah.
Like, how can you get better? And everything that we go through is a learning lesson. It's not a loss. It's a lesson. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the next episode, we'll do a recap on 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yep.
So, yeah. And again, like I said, we'll pare it down. But yeah. So is there anything for our to-go box on being falsely accused?
Yeah, just understand this rape culture. It's real. And I know, like you said, rape is a hard word, but it's not even the actual act of rape, but just this culture of derogatory. Maybe derogatory culture. And it is everywhere, but we have to unlearn all of this kind of behavior and just go back. Keep it simple. Women like the simple compliments. Hey, you're beautiful.
Yeah,
done.
You look nice.
Right. And I don't feel no type of
way.
Not God
dang.
Right. Like,
look at all that.
Right.
All that booty. Don't nobody care.
Right. Bet you can't do a split on it. Like, what? I don't even know you, sir.
Shake that monkey. Like, whoa. Bet you can't do it like that.
I cannot. But this is real life, which is funny.
What's my favorite word?
Listen, real out here. So just unlearning all of this.
All of which are my favorite songs.
Right, jams. Listen, because we'll let it come on this weekend.
Watch. Somebody gonna take a video of us dancing to it. They gonna post it like they was just talking about rape culture. They over here getting loose.
Taking it back like a 9-9. Listen, we gonna be out here. But seriously, like, just unlearning like all of this stuff and having a true understanding of what's appropriate and what's inappropriate.
Yes, definitely. So yeah. Those, man, I agree. Same takeaways for me.
Listen,
is we just gotta evolve, learn, and grow, and adapt. Because it's real. And I'm glad that people are taking a stance and being vocal.
Absolutely,
because that's definitely
don't stop.
Don't stop there. But be truthful.
Right.
Be honest.
Right.
And take into account the other person's life, because some of these people have families,
everything.
Like their kids looking at them crazy, their wives looking at them crazy,
businesses, everything.
People losing deals and contracts. All because you mad,
right?
Because you was a sideline or something, or what? Like, ain't nobody got time.
Or you just looking for a quick come up. This microwave society we living in, it's not quick. Like, these people work their lives for what they have, and for you to come and say something that's not true, that's not okay.
And also, I'm hopeful that something will come about where enough people who have been falsely accused will kind of rise up and fight for some sort of laws or some sort of change where there's consequences, where people are held accountable to the allegations that they make.
Absolutely. There needs to be something. So come on, Congress. We need to work on that.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for tuning in to episode 21.
Hey.
21. Until next time. Peace.
Thanks, guys, for listening to Brunch with Besties podcast. Be sure to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, now YouTube, and Google Play. Basically, we everywhere. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a review and rate us. We would so appreciate that. Also, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to find us on Twitter. Our handle is BrunchWBesties. On IG, you can find us at Brunch with Besties Podcast. And if you'd like, you can shoot us an email. Our Gmail is brunchwithbestiespodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Peace.